Welcome everyone to this new video. Today I'm bringing you a new deck profile. This time we will cover in detail a deck that hasn't been covered at all during the entire channel. This time we have Lilithmon Loop. First of all, congratulations to Francis Denton, which won the European Online Regional that was celebrated during last Sunday in Europe. This event was pretty big. It actually had some of my friends from Spain, and actually one of them got crushed by Francis with this deck. Actually, I was able to see that game, and basically my friend was playing Jesmon. They were 1-1, and the game 3 was basically Francis teaching my friend how to play. That was pretty fun to play because basically Francis was showing in live his deck profile to my friend. Unlucky for my friend, but actually congratulations Francis, you did a great list. Actually, this player did a report, an article in the digimonmeta.com website. You should completely visit that website because it contains a lot of useful information, just like deck lists, spoilers from the latest editions. It has some articles of talking about strategies. That's a really useful place. I recommend all of you to visit the website. Let's move to the deck profile. Actually, I won't be. I think I'll start with the latest part because these two cards have basically the deck built completely around them. So what does this deck do? First of all, if you don't know yet what this deck is pretending to do, this deck is a combo deck. Honestly, it's the only combo deck we have right now in the game, and it performs a loop between Lilithmon and Omnimon SWAT, which basically means that you have Lilithmon to generate tons of memory because of the jack rate effect. For every 10 cards in your trash, you get 1 memory, but Lilithmon effect says if you play an option card, you get 2 memory. You get 2 memory for each instance of Lilithmon you control in the field during that given turn. So this loop basically consists in Lilithmon generates memory, you evolve into Omnimon SWAT, you revive some level 5s, and then you attack with Omnimon SWAT. By attacking, you will return Lilithmon to your hand. Then you will just evolve your Lilithmon into one of your recent level 5s that you have just revived with SWAT's effect. And then Lilithmon will recover the jack rates, making you able to get memory again and start this process again. So once you have done this once or twice, you have plenty of bodies on the table, plenty of attacks have been done, and an opponent that is just losing to that aggression. So once we have told what the deck is pretending to do, we need to see what we need to perform this. Actually, this cannot be done if we don't have at least 10 cards in the graveyard. That's why Lilithmon has no effect of returning the option cards if we don't have at least 10 cards in the trash. Jack rate gives us no memory if we don't have 10 cards in the trash, and etc. So we are lucky because the purple color is an expert in generating trash. So that's why I'm running tons of draw 1, discard 1 effects. And we are playing Sunomon. Sunomon is the most consistent one because we actually trash and discard cards from the hand constantly. We have Labramon, we have Immon, we have the Inherited effect of Gabumon and Kinkaku, we have Lady Devimon, draw 2, discard 2, we have Rebellimon, discard 1, it gets blocked and retaliation, and we have more draw power in the form of Takumi, which is also a white permanent, a white tamer that we can just play with a low cost. We have Menua, which is a memory fixer, also in white. And why do we need the white color? Because of this card, Mega Digimon Fusion. This card lets us just evolve into Omnimon Sword for free, and is pretty interesting because we will comment something in a few minutes. So let's start with the line. We have a perfect curve. If you see this curve, it's 13 to 10 to 7 to 4 to 3. This is the pyramid structure we have talked about in former videos, and we need to respect this. Sunamon is the most consistent Digitama by far in purple. The next one being Demidevimon, but Demidevimon is really bad. We could think about filling the trash with Impmon, but we depend of Impmon to be dead, to be deleted, and that's something we shouldn't be doing, because if we somehow miss and our Impmon is surviving, then we are doing nothing rather than wasting time and resources. That's why Francis is running Sunamon over Demimera. Next is Demidevimon by being a really cheap rookie. An efficient way to deal with this deck, if you are the opponent, is to memory choke us constantly, because we don't run as much memory fixing tamers rather than Minua at 1 or 2 copies, and we could potentially die just from being choke. That's why Demimeramon is an excellent tool to let us choke the opponents too, just by playing him. Also, if we generate in the late game a ton of memory, we can just create a new evolution chain, a new evolution stack out of nowhere, just by a really low cost. So Demimeramon is fitting well in this deck. Next is Gasimon, the memory game blocker. If your color lets you play one of these cards like Terriermon, etc., you should completely do this. At least 2 copies are mandatory. This card is great against the mirror match this time, it's great against duplicate decks, and it's pretty useful against anything, because when we are talking about fair decks, they will try to break the fairness somehow by getting extra memory and cheating somehow with the memory. These Digimons are excellent because they basically maintain the fairness of the game at any point. So this one is crazy. Also against the blue decks, which are running tons of memory boost cards and Hammer Spark, Gasimon becomes really useful. We have Labramon, as we have said. This is one of the draw 1, discard 1 effects we ran. Emon lets us recover Lilithmon with the on-play effect. We can trash 1 card and then recover and 7 great Demon Lords, and Lilithmon is one of them. Next, Legabumon. When attacking, inherited, draw 1, discard 1. Auto include. Next are Kinkakumon, which is great to just delete the opposing Gasimons. And also this card is great against Gabumon, because Gabumon Bond of Friendship is potentially the worst matchup you could face with this deck. We have a really poor early game, because we need to get our resources into the trash in order to start off with the combo, and we are just defenseless against the aggro decks that are explosive on the early game. So Gabumon Bond of Friendship is scary, and Kikakumon is an efficient way of do your curve. You can start doing your curve by attacking and delete something from the opponent, maybe an Gabumon, a Stravimon, and stuff like that. Also Modoki Bitamon, who is a memory blocker, so you need to be aware of this. Next is Kinkakumon, as this card has a strong comparison to the promo Wizardmon we have received in the dash pack of BT6, but Kinkakumon is most consistent. Instead of requiring us to activate an option, we are required to trash a card, and surprise, we have plenty of effects to perform this. So we get 1 memory each time in our turn when we basically discard something. That's insane. Next, 4 copies of King Kakumon Promote. This is the finisher of the deck, and this card is pretty useful at almost all the stages of the game, because we can just evolve for 1, we can just hard play it, we can revive him. This card is insane, and having Rush is no joke. 4 copies of Lady Devimon is an all-time staple in Lilithmon decks. When the evolve, draw 2, discard 2, and this together with the draw 1, when we digivolve into her, becomes a draw 3, discard 2. And those discards could potentially give us memory, another draw. This effect becomes really unfair if we analyze it. Also, the inherited effect can delete any of the opposing level 3s. So this is an additional tool against the memory blockers and stuff like that. And the last level 5, 3 copies of Lilithmon. This is supposed to be against Yesmon, but we have an additional use just by deleting an opposing Gabumon Bond of Friendship, just by evolving into Rebellimon, having the effect activated, and then evolve into Lilithmon. We get some purple options, so we can just leave a Lilithmon with blocker and retaliation, so our opponent will attack us without making any checks. Later, if we have the Jack rates and we have the rest set, we can start comboing off. 3 copies of Omnimon Sword. This is the right ratio because 2 copies is pretty greedy. If one of them ends up in the security, you have lost the game automatically. But having 2 in the deck lets you evolve one of them by the digivolve cost, and the other one lets us just cheat him out with the Mega Digimon Fusion that we will be talking about later. Next, the Memory Tamers in white, just by having white enables to Mega Digimon Fusion, Takumi for consistency and some styling effect against the aggressive decks in the early game, and Minoa as the memory fixing one. 4 copies of Jackraid because we need this card as fast as possible, but as we are not running any removal option, having this on the security is actually pretty decent. It could just end the opponent's turn, and that could mean that you will perform your combo during your turn, and that's scary. 2 copies of Mega Digimon Fusion. This card lets us cheat out Omnimon Sword by digivolving into him for 0, but this card is also good in another scenario. So we are self-milling ourselves, and if the game takes really long, we can lose to the deck out. This card, in the end of the turn, the Digimon returns to the deck, letting us to survive for 1 turn to the self-milling. If we achieve this, we won't lose, and we will have the board full of Digimons ready to attack. If the opponent is not able to kill us or to kill all the Digimons, then he will be in a hurry and we could potentially steal that game. Next, we have 1 copy of Underworld's card. This card is pretty versatile because if it is this card, we can get an extra draw, and the main effect is that we can revive 1 level 4 or lower Digimon, and we will enjoy his on-play effects. So we could just play a King Kakumon for 4, get an extra draw 1 and 1 memory, and basically everything of this comes from 3 memories. Insane. Finally, 3 copies of Purple Memory Boost. This card will be replaced by Analog Boy. Maybe not, but this card adds consistency and adds some memory gain to perform your combo if you need it. That's it. This was the first Lilithmon deck profile in the channel, and I hope you like this deck because it is really difficult to pilot correctly because it has tons of effects, it has tons of requirements, and you could commit a misplay easily. This deck takes a lot of playtesting, and if you are thinking about playing this deck, you should be buying into Lilithmon as soon as possible, because in BT7 this deck will be a juggernaut. This deck will be really powerful. With EX1 Analog Boy, this card will be really popular and really powerful, but in BT7 we will receive the Icemon package and Luzmon and a ton of cool cards in purple. So that's it. You should buy Lilithmon as soon as possible, and you should start playtesting as soon as possible too. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to the channel if you like my content, and if you want to help me to still create quality content, just leave your feedback in the comment section. Dr. Sayus says you goodbye and take care.